What's up, guys? We are back. This is episode 30 of the Beat The Line broadcast. I'm your host, Peggy. You got Keith 3 Picks, Peggy Picks by Pegasus, Keith 3 Picks, Javi, and our special guest, the Dog Father. Everyone knows him from, Discord or Twitter. Everyone hears him around. We're here just going to break down the UFC St. Louis card this week. What do we think? First looks. I know a lot of people, including me, I kind of looked at this card. Oh, I'm getting some feedback. Sorry, 1 second. First look. I looked at this card and I was kind of like, this card sucks. I don't want anything to do with it. I may not have a single bet. After doing a little bit of tape, digging into some of the fights, I was like, okay, this is actually going to be a pretty banger of a card for a fight night. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's some good fights. Unfortunately, it's one of the cards I'm gonna miss. I miss probably like 1 or 2 per year, so it's a little bit annoying. But yeah, man, I think there's some bangers and some fight that I think we're gonna see a lot of violence this week. It's not like the biggest card ever, but just to be outside of the apex is good. So yeah, man.
Okay, Dog, anything to add? You guys?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be a pretty good fight night card. I think main event's kind of underwhelming, but I think the bulk of the card is good work.
I think the co-main event should be the main event, to be honest. But that's besides the point. Dog, what about you? Anything you love here?
Yeah, I think stylistically the matchmaking was really good on this card. I think that's what makes it a great card. A lot of the fights are pretty there's really not a lot of guys in the rankings here, but stylistically, though, there's a lot of intriguing matchups. So I think that's what makes this a great card. I think this is one of the better fight night cards we're going to get this year.
I agree. I think there's some like mirror matches on this fight too, where it's like they fight the same. One to think of off the top of my head is Ricci, Tisha Torres. They kind of fight pretty similar. So this is going to be who's better, which I would think the younger girl is, but we'll break in that later. All right, we're starting from the bottom of the card with the prelims. Our first fight is JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. JJ Aldrich is 31. She's 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. Veronica Hardy, she is 28, 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two women, you can get JJ Aldrich anywhere from plus 121 to plus 109. You get Hardy anywhere from minus 130 to minus 150. Key, our low-level women's expert, give us the first breakdown for this one.
Yeah. So actually, before we get to this one, there's another fight that I'm targeting in Fury FC. That's another low-level women's fight. That is my shit. That's my niche. But if you want to get access to that, make sure to hit the link in my bio and get my dub club. Shameless plug. But on to this fight. I got
it's the Moro and Anderson fight.
Yeah, you Dog Father knows ball. So
look into KSW this weekend. There's a pretty interesting fight to tape. It's
Beckus and
no, Beckus and Martin was last week on
that was last week.
It's
Look at them, Beg.
Which one is this was the Kraft and Carmona. Yeah.
Carmona. Yeah, it's a good one to tape this weekend. Look into it if you like it. So I already
I could barely tape a UFC girls fight. I cannot believe you guys are taping regional scene girl fights. That's kind of fucking crazy.
That's real MMA, man. That's as high as level as it gets. But not Hardy and Aldrich. I got Hardy at plus 110. I'm happy with that number. Guys in the Discord got the same price. I think in women's MMA, you have to be thinking about who's winning the moments. Moment winners in women's MMA is rare, and I think that Hardy is one of them, although she doesn't have a ton of power. Her rhythm and the way in which she strikes, the karate style blitzes, having Dan Hardy has seemed to just do complete wonders for her career. The way in which that he game plans for fights, it's been beautiful to watch. Horth is a big girl. And I did not back her versus Horth because of that. I was thinking that Horth's size would be a little bit too much for her. I thought the physicality difference would look pretty crazy, and she handled it well. I don't think that Aldrich is a very good striker. Aldrich can't finish a fucking Subway sandwich. So I'm not thinking that Aldrich has a lot of finishing upside here. To be honest, I think that Hardy's going to piece her up at range. She's a more athletic girl. She's going to have the better striking. In terms of grappling, I guess you can maybe argue that Aldrich can get some cage push time here, but nothing significant. At plus odds, it was sort of a no-brainer. I cap her at around minus 150 range. I think that it's hard to get outside of that price, but anything minus 130 and below, in my opinion, is a very good bet. What is the spread actually?
For Hardy?
Yeah, for Hardy.
It's plus 200. I just checked.
Yeah, plus 200 is actually pretty decent for the way in which she fights. I think that she does separate in rounds pretty well. I think the plus 200 is okay if you're looking for a way to play her now. But Hardy at close odds, in my opinion, is the bet. I can't get down with Aldrich bet here.
You're muted, Peg.
Dogfather, you like low-level girls MMA. What do you like for this one? Anything?
No, it's a pass. I feel like the current line is somewhat accurate. I actually probably favor Aldrich to win because Hardy's looked absolutely terrible on bottom in her UFC career. Aldrich will wrestle and she'll go to the grappling and she can grapple. Hardy's hasn't really shown the best takedown defense or cardio. Aldrich may be lacking in athleticism and physicality. However, she does everything well. And she's fought a much more seasoned, higher level of competition. So I favor Aldrich to win this fight, but really don't have a lot of interest on the money line side or the totals or this fight in general because I don't think Aldrich has a lot of upside here.
Joff, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think Hardy's probably going to win a decision, but I think her speed and movements probably gonna get her the win. Aldrich, she's a boxer in MMA. That's pretty much it to me. Like, she's not really physical. I'm not too sure she's going to be able to land takedowns. And if she does, I think Hardy BJJ is better than JJ Aldrich, to be honest. But yeah, I think overall the speed of Hardy, the movement, the footwork is going to cause problem to JJ. And I just think she has more weapons on the feet. JJ, like I said, she's a southpaw, which can be tricky at times. But, let me just check. But I think Hardy's a southpaw too. Yeah, I was looking into that the other day. I think it's the first time in I think it's the first time in JJ Aldrich's career in the UFC, and she has a lot of fights. Pretty sure it's the first time she's going to be facing a southpaw, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, she doesn't have much power. She's just a good boxer, good jab. But overall, I think Hardy's going to be winning more moments. Like Key said, I'm not rushing to bet her at juice. Overall, like you said, Doug, like JJ has more experience in the UFC against a higher level competition, but I don't think Hardy's the same fighter that she was before the layoff. So yeah, man, I think she's good and she's probably gonna win. I'm waiting to see if I can get plus money or minus 110. Maybe I'm gonna make a play, but as of now, it's pass for me too.
Yeah, I played Hardy minus 130. I think she's just a little more athletic. I think she has faster hands. I think she throws more volume. Grappling, I guess you'd probably have to give it to JJ just because what we've seen. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy, though. I think Hardy wins the decision here. Next fight, Jared Gooden versus Kevin Jousset. Kevin Jousset, he is 31. He's 6'2", with a 75-inch reach out of City Kickboxing. Jared Gooden, the Night Train, is 30 years old. He's 6 feet tall with a 77-inch reach. These guys right now, the odds, Jousset's anywhere from minus 220 to minus 235. Gooden's anywhere from plus 189 to plus 160. Drav, what do you think? Do you think Jousset knocks out, or do you think it goes to the decision here?
I think he's gonna go to decision. Jousset, yes, shown improvements recently. Like, I love his jab. I love the way he's technical and winning minutes. And he did up his volume in his last fight because before the UFC was not looking very good. I actually backed him in his UFC debut because I was saying some upside. He's a judo black belt. He has very good cardio. He has a very good chin. That's good things to have in MMA. And he's training at City Kickboxing. So, his striking has been looking better lately. I'm just not high on Jared Gooden, to be honest. He was getting pieced off by Turman. I'm sure he's going to talk about that pretty soon. But yeah, overall, you find the kill shot. We know that Thurman doesn't have a good chin, and you choked him out after that. So yeah, he got cut in the UFC, came back. Props to him, but I just run back the tapes on Aris versus him today, actually, because I was taping Chaos William versus Aris next week. And I mean, he came in at 177 pounds in that fight, short notice. Didn't look too good to me, but yeah, he fight with his ends though. He has some power, but overall, I think Jousset jab's gonna be there all day. He's gonna throw more volume, win more minute. I guess he's live for a knockout. I've seen Gooden getting hurt in clip in some fights, but he's very hard to get out of here. He's tough, so. And Jousset, like I said, he doesn't really push finishes, so I think he's gonna win a decision here. And yeah, if you look, I think the fight go to distance at a pretty high clip, and Gooden is 5-7 to the decision. That's not good. So, and yeah, he's live for a knockout, but yeah, I just don't see it. I think Jousset chin is pretty good, and I'm not high on Gooden personally.
Dog, what do you think, man? You got a side here. You're gonna play Jousset at 2-1 odds. You're muted.
I'm actually pretty high on Jousset. I bet him in his last 2 fights. I feel like this is probably about the time to get off the train for him in terms of just the line. I feel like it's somewhat accurate from a betting perspective. I actually don't like the overs here because Jousset's really, really hittable. His striking defense can be lacking a lot of the times. If he leaves his lead hand low, he can be countered over the top. That's essentially what Gooden's best, opportunity is here to have big moments and probably win this fight. So I'm passing from the money line perspective because I got minus 150 against, Song Kanan. And I feel like Jared Gooden is much more dangerous and better than Song Kanan at fighting. So now that the market's kind of caught up to Jousset, I really don't want to play this price, and I really don't have much interest in the total. I feel like it's a dog or pass kind of fight. If this line gets ridiculous, I'll probably play Gooden just because I feel like we're at about accurate. And now we're kind of overvaluing Jousset. His work rate's good, his calf kicks are good, but Gooden is still a dangerous fighter. He's still pretty young. People are kind of overlooking that, I feel like, from a market perspective. I don't really take much out of the Harris fight. And, I think how old is Gooden? He's 29? I don't think he's 30 yet, right?
He which Night Train?
Yeah.
He's 30. He's just turning 30.
He's just turned 30. He's got a ton of UFC experience, but a bunch of high level guys. This could be, a breakout spot for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he counters over the top of the big right hand and hurts Jousset. So I'm staying away from this one unless it's dog or pass.
Yeah, I kind of think the opposite. I played the fight goes the distance at plus 125, and I played Jousset to win a decision plus 165. The reason I played those two, I think both guys are durable. I think Jousset, the only thing I worry about with him is him keeping his head too high when he always fights. He kind of hangs his head out there. You see that with a lot of kickboxers. Makes me a little nervous just because, what we saw with Thurman, like Night Train's not afraid to bite down the mouthpiece and swing one over the top, and he might catch him here. If he does, it could be a good night for him. But if it doesn't, I think Kevin Jousset has, the grappling and ground game. Everyone's talking about his judo. We don't really see it much, but I think he would have the benefit on the ground. I don't think it really goes there. I think it stays standing. I think the leg kicks are going to look good. I think the jabs are going to look good from Jousset. I think he's just going to win a boring decision, to be honest. I don't think he's going to take too many. Yeah, he does have a KO bullhead. That too. But I just don't see too much of. I just think it's just going to be a boring fight, just a boring mirror match, and go to a decision. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is a Jousset spot. I kind of regret missing out on the Jousset train a little bit early on. I played the spread, Jousset minus 3.5 at plus 100 on Bet Online. I thought that was a very good line. I believe that's like minus 165 now. I think that Jousset's the side. He is hittable. I will say that. I don't think that this is a fight that he's going to pay for it big, though. I don't think that Gooden is UFC level. I shamelessly did bet Wellington Turman against Gooden, and Turman decided to come out as fucking great value Ferreira, and got absolutely tagged after looking good early, but just got outdogged. I don't think that this is a fight where Gooden's just going to outdog him. I think that Jousset's calf kick is going to be big here. I think his jab is going to be absolutely money here. I think that he's going to either put on a complete masterclass for 3 rounds with maybe a scare or two. But he has a good chin. I think that a round 3 KO is very live here. I don't necessarily like the odds for it on Bet Online right now, but commercial books could have some better odds. Like I said, I don't think the Gooden is UFC level. I think that he does well with the skills that he does have. I think that he's just a tough guy that's willing to fight. I think that Jousset's just better technically, and I think that's going to show up big here. I'm looking to get more Jousset. I won't parlay his money line. I feel like that's a little nasty, even though it is parlayable. I'm probably not going to play that, but I will probably get to it on some of the DFS apps on top of the spread that I already have. So Jousset here, I think that he puts on a nice show. I'm interested to see who they give him next, because I think that he's going to show up to be not a contender, but a solid guy in this division.
I didn't realize how old he was. I didn't realize he was not how old. He's 31, but I didn't realize he was 31. Coming onto the scene a little late, but thought he was younger. Next fight, guys. Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson is our first hometown fighter on the card. Jake Hadley, he's 27, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Charles Johnson, 33, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen. Hadley's anywhere from -141 to -163. Charles Johnson anywhere from +136 to +119. Drav, go first. Should I let you go first last one? I can't remember.
I think so.
All right, Dog, you go. What do you think? Hadley versus Johnson. Is Hadley going to smash this guy, or is Charles Johnson going to show up and do the split decision upset in his hometown?
Yeah, I bet Johnson. I have a decent position on Johnson at like +147 average, largely because he's had issues. He's a counter striker at the end of the day, and I wouldn't be surprised if he falls behind on volume here. But I actually favor him to have most of the grappling upside because Hadley just really hasn't shown the ability to stuff a takedown to save his life. And Charles does do a good job at getting to body locks and positioning himself into half guard and side control to dominant positions where he can stay away from Hadley's guard. He's shown solid submission defense, especially from front chokes in his UFC career as well. We saw in the last fight, but he's very patient as well as a striker. I feel like his kicks and his range will probably give Hadley some trouble here. Mostly like a one-dimensional boxer with a kick. So I don't really see, either guy pulling away from the striking. And I feel like Charles does have a good bit of grappling upside. Don't really see Hadley having much ability to take him down. And Charles is probably going to win round 3 here at a really high clip. So it's a pretty easy underdog spot for me. And, hometown guy, some of these occurrences that Charles has been to the cage, he's not even been on a full camp. The UFC gave him a new contract with his last fight. I feel like this is a good spot for him.
You're muted, Beg.
Key, what do you think?
Yeah, this is dog or pass for me. I didn't get to Charles' bet. I wanted a specific price, and it just never got to that point. I think that he's got kind of a raw deal in the UFC so far. I think that he's better than what his UFC record indicates. I don't know if anybody remembers with that guillotine that he had against Azat, that he had him out pretty much and then lets go. Yep. I'm glad that he still got the win, but he deserved the sub there. I think that Charles is a good fighter, complete fighter. I hope that he gets going early here. I hope that he doesn't wait. I'm glad that it's in front of his hometown crowd. That sort of gives me more reason to believe that he's going to get going and get started early. But yeah, I'm excited for Charles. I think that he gets it done here, but I wanted a little bit better odds and it just didn't get there. So I'm going to stick strong here.
Drop. How about you?
Yeah, I did parlay the over 2.5 at the early price. I got minus 226. So yeah, I feel like I guess Hadley is live for a finish a little bit. But I think Johnson's submission defense is elite, and he has a very good chin. I know he got hurt in his last fight. That was surprising. But yeah, he has a good chin. He's a dog, and I don't see him getting finished. On the other hand, he's a slow starter. Sometimes he put it on people late. So I guess we have seen Hadley slow down. So I agree with Dog that Johnson's probably gonna win the round 3 at a decent clip. So with that being said, I guess maybe if Ali slow down and Johnson put it on him, he's live for a finish play. That's why I prefer the over 2.5 rather than GTD. But yeah, it's hard for me to pick a side here. It has to be dog or pass. But at the end of the day, it's like they're probably gonna stand for the most part. Adley is a pretty good BJJ player. I think he's very dangerous off his back, but he doesn't really wrestle himself, which it's what has given Johnson problems in the UFC. You know, he fought very high level competition and he fought people that were taking him down over and over again. But we know him at this point. Decent takedown defense, but he definitely can get taken down against good wrestler. But he has very good get up game and elite submission defense. So in this matchup, I think he's gonna shine because he's not gonna be worried about Hadley shooting takedowns. And I don't mind him trying to mix in the wrestling because Hadley tried to play off his back too much for my liking. And he's not gonna submit Johnson, I don't think so. Yeah, I guess you can make a good case for Johnson at plus money. Like you can make it competitive on the feet. Hadley probably the better boxer. Johnson the better kicker. Johnson maybe a little bit more volume. Hadley maybe a little bit more power. And yeah, Johnson cardio is better. The weight cut is very tough for Hadley. You guys remember last time out against Cody Durden? Like he almost died on the scales. He said after, and he slowed down bad in that fight. So I guess it's important to see him on the scales first. But he's a good fighter. I mean, I love his boxing. I think his boxing, the way it goes to the body, is pretty slick. But yeah, I mean Johnson. And now I think that's a good matchup for him. He's not gonna fight someone that's just gonna spam takedowns on him. So yeah, I'm gonna pick him to win. I'm just not sure I'm gonna get to a bet because, like I said, I think it's hard to pick a side. But if we talk numbers, I think I like plus 130, plus 140 was a good bet. But overall, it's going to be a close fight. That's why I was like, give me the under 2.5. It's like a safe play to me, a good parlay piece, and easier than picking a side. But I think Johnson gets it done in his hometown.
I've been saying it all week. I'll say it again. I've yet to put money on it because I'm waiting to see what FanDuel gives me. But Charles Johnson by split decision. I think Jake Hadley's a very good fighter. He's a great wrestler. His boxing is coming together. Obviously, I would have to give the striking advantage to Charles Johnson because of what he's done back at Tiger Muay Thai. But personally, I just think that this is going to be one of those split decision fights. I feel like Charles Johnson, it's interesting because Charles Johnson's such a great fighter. His takedown defense is lackluster. He looked a lot better with Azat. I was looking like, oh my God, I finally got Jake Hadley at a great price. Going back in tape, watching the Azat fight, I'm like, okay, he's been looking better and better so far in the UFC. So I think this is going to go to split decision. I think Charles Johnson's going to win that. Drav, what was split decision? Plus 600 on Bet Online?
Yeah.
So I like that bet. I think that's the way to play it. You can play it small if you want to play it that way. The only thing, I think Jake Hadley's got all the things to be a great UFC fighter. His grappling, his jiu-jitsu, his striking now, everything looks good. His fight IQ is horrible. I don't know. It's just like this guy said in the comments, champ bets. Like it was just like with Loopy in her last fight. Like she just does everything to get in his way, and it just seems like he makes fights more difficult than they have to be. So I'll take Charles Johnson by split decision. Next fight. Next fight is Trey Waters versus Billy Goff. Trey Waters, he is 29, 6'5" with a 77-inch reach. He's fighting Billy Goff, who is 25, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. The action on these two guys is you can get Billy Goff anywhere from plus 136 to plus 142. Trey Waters anywhere from minus 156 to minus 180. I'll start off on this one. Everyone all over Twitter is looking for a Billy spot. I was on Billy last fight. He's a he's a dog. Everyone likes to talk about how much of a dog he is. And I just think I wanted to find myself on a bet, especially when you open, plus 145, plus 150 around there. I think he even got up to plus 170 at one point. I wanted to try and get myself there. After watching tape, I think that Trey Waters is going to just pump that jab and just keep him at distance.
Sorry. You know why I'm laughing.
And I think that I'm not going to take a bet here because obviously I want to bet Billy Waters. I just think overall, I don't think he's going to be able to close the distance well. We saw it against Quinlan. The distance was managed well. He stuffed all the takedowns against Quinlan. I just don't see it coming. I think Trey Waters has got to be the side here. Would I play it at minus 160? I don't know. I don't really think so. But I don't know. I think that's the way to probably play it. Key, since you were laughing, you get to go next. Tell me more on what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think this is a Trey Waters spot. I think the Goff is a fucking punching bag, if we're just being honest. I got Waters plus 235 KO on Bet Online. I'm happy with that number. Goff isn't tapping to a sub, so if it is a sub, he's going out completely. He's went out completely before. I think the Goff is pretty much just going to walk forward until he gets stopped. I think the Waters is too slick. I think that he's a sniper. He performed better than I expected against Quinlan. I thought that Quinlan was going to cause a little bit of problems up close and close range. I'm not this Trey Waters long term. I think that he's this elite prospect. I'm not that guy. I think that he does have some holes in his game. But this isn't a fight that I think this is a tailor-made fight for him to paint a masterpiece. Goff is a punching bag. Waters is going to pop out that jab. That right hand is going to come over the top eventually. It's going to put him out. It's a pretty simple read for me. I'm looking to get more Waters where I can on Underdog Fantasy, Prize Picks, and other places. But yeah, if at these close of odds, Goff isn't the type of dog that I want to back at plus 140 whenever I know that he has to walk through fucking hell to get to a winning condition for himself. So I'll pause. But yeah, so I'll Waters KO. Pass this somebody else pick.
All right, dog. You're on Billy Goff, right? You took him plus odds.
Yeah, I like Goff. I think it's an awful stylistic matchup for Waters once the ball gets rolling. We saw this in the Bennett fight in LFA, where he was cage clinched, couldn't get off the cage for about 10 minutes of the fight. If Goff gets past the jab range and gets Waters on the cage at all, he's shown the ability that he just can't get off of the cage. And to be honest with you, Billy Goff is a better version of Bennett. You also saw in the Jaleel Willis fight, Waters was kind of willing to just stay at range and pretty much lose the fight to Jaleel Willis until he won. Those type of things are not something that I'm really interested in backing a juice favorite here. Quinlan is fine, but doesn't really have the cardio or the diversity of striking or the boxing to give Waters issues. I am very understanding that Waters can easily clip and put out Billy Goff, but we've never seen that. So until I see that, I'm going to believe that Billy Goff is a pretty durable guy, and he's a hard guy to finish. I feel like this is a matchup where if the ball gets rolling for Goff here, it's going to be downhill really fast for Trey Waters.
All right, Drav, take us away.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the mystic call here. I think Waters going to put him out with a knee when Goff rush in. Like, I was kind of surprised, bro, to be honest, because top of my head, remembering his last fight, I thought he was like a decision machine, Trey Waters, but looking back into his original tape, the dude has some serious power and he's dangerous. Like, I love his knees. I love his jab. I love him at distance striking. He's pretty good. Even the Bonfim fight, like Bonfim is a pretty dangerous boxer, and he was piecing him up. And another thing that I've noticed, he has a good chin, Treewater. I think he's going to be able to take the shots that Billy Goff gave to him. But if Billy Goff is able to get in the inside and unload some power shots, I feel like he's alive to knock him out. As always, that's kind of his style. He's kill or be kill. I think we all back him in his last fight. I play him at plus money, and I play the under 2.5. In this spot, I just feel like it's gonna be so hard for him to win this. Like even in this fight that he win, he's getting dropped and he's getting hurt a lot, and then he kind of come back and gets a win. But it's gonna be hard to do here. I just think that the only thing that worries me is sometimes Trewater can get control against the fence. That's a concern. But the guy that did it to him, Benjamin Bennett, I was actually looking into him, and he's 5-1, and he was scheduled to fight Kamzat at some point, but the fight didn't happen. But then I was looking into his amateur career, and the dude fought like Brendan Allen back in the day, and he fought some good guys like Alex Martinez. He lost by a split decision, and he fought Izakov, who's a good fighter as well. He fought a lot of good people, and he has a very good record. So he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, he was winning this fight, but at the end of the day, he got knocked out. So yeah, I just feel like overall, Water's just gonna be way better at distance striking. It's not a close fight at distance. It's very Water's like big favorite. But if Goff get in the inside and, like I said, get some boxing going on the inside, I feel like he could knock him out. Also, I think Waters is live for like a front choke type sub, like a guillotine, especially. He has good guillotine. And Goff is the type of dude, like you guys said, he's a dog, and that's why we love him. But he's the type of guy that even if he gets hurt, he's gonna go for a leg. He's gonna go for something. He's not just gonna like quit on himself, So I feel like if Waters hurts him, the club and sub is pretty live. So I know Key got a good number on the knockout, but I was worried about the knockout because I think Waters I have KO sub upside, and yes, decision equity. And I think Goff is kind of KO or bust here. He's gonna be losing all the minutes until you find a kill shot. I like the under though. Like I said, I see like 3 paths for finish, and the under is only like minus 165, which I don't understand why people are betting the over in this spot. That's crazy to me. I guess Water could just out jab him and win a boring decision, but just because of Billy Goff's side, I just don't think it's gonna happen. He's kill or be kill. He's either gonna get hurt and then finish him, or he's just gonna get killed. So it's gonna be a banger though. I'm excited for this fight. And but yeah, Waters is so tall too. Like he's so long and so tall. It's gonna be hard for Goff to just get in the inside and knock him out. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this one.
All right, next fight is this is the mirror matchup I talked about from earlier in the show. You got Tabitha Ricci, who is 29. She's 5'1" with a 61-inch reach, fighting Tecia Torres, coming off a 2-year layoff and having a baby. She's 34, 5'1" with a 61-inch reach. Looking at the odds on these two women, you can get Ricci anywhere from minus 130 to minus 148. You can get Tecia Torres anywhere from plus 125 to plus 110. Girls fight. Key, we're gonna let you go first, even though I don't think this is low level. What do you think? I don't hate that Tecia plus 3.5. I just don't know how the odds will be on that. I feel like it's probably not going to be great odds. What do you think?
It's minus 260. Nasty work, right?
Real nasty work.
All right, so Keith, break it down for us.
Yeah, I think that Tecia Torres round 1 is the greatest women's MMA fighter I've ever seen. I think that she beats Amanda Nunes. I think that she beats Chris Cyborg round 1. After round 1, though, shit gets tricky. I think that in this fight, there's too many question marks for me to back Torres. She is coming off a pregnancy. Not joking for anybody unfamiliar.
It's Mother's Day weekend also. Let's not forget that.
So
who got her pregnant? Raquel?
But I think like that. I think in this spot, I think you have to sort of go with Ricci. I haven't gotten to a Ricci bet yet. And I don't know if I necessarily will at minus 142. The line is right now. I think that Tecia wins round 1 at a high clip, but I think rounds 2 and 3, Ricci is she figures out ways to win. The Godinez fight, I thought that Lupi beat her a lot of those minutes, and then in Lupi fashion, she finds a way to give a bullshit moment at the end of a round. and Ricci ends up finding a way to have some arguments of winning that fight. I think that Ricci isn't some elite girl, but I think at this level, I think that she has enough volume. She has good grappling, and she has enough to win these fights. I think rounds 2 and 3, she wins at a pretty decent clip. But I'm not – there's just too many question marks overall in this fight. Pennington is the plus athlete. She has more power. She's going to win moment striking. But she also makes a lot of bad decisions in the octagon. And I think that Ricci's going to capitalize. I wouldn't be surprised if Ricci found a little bit of top time here. But I think overall the volume in rounds 2 and 3 will be a little bit too much for her here. At wider plus odds, I could probably get behind Tisha bet. But here at this close, it's probably Ricci or pass. But I'm most likely going to pass on this fight. Or if we somehow got a good line on round 1 scorecard winner on Bet Online, I know the limits on those are shit. But at round 1 scorecard winner or finish is probably good if you can get Ricci decent. So yeah, I mean Torres decent. So but yeah, Ricci or pass for me.
Dogfather, what do you think of Tisha plus 3.5 minus 185 on DraftKings?
It probably looks value, to be honest with you. I'm never going to bet something like that. But to be honest, I see this as a 50-50 fight, and she probably does win a round on all the scorecards. So, I mean, it's just what do you cap that at? It's pretty impossible, but, the chances that, Tisha Pennington wins a round here at whatever that percentage is, closer to 65-ish%, I'd have to think it's probably like 75%, 80%. Like this fight's going to be 50-50 as it comes, and Tisha's a great minute winner. I'm not that high on Ricci. She had issues with Jillian Robertson in the striking where 3 different rounds were all scored. They weren't even scored unanimously. To show you how close, Ricci can go in the striking with somebody like Jillian Robertson. Tisha does do a good job at scrambling when she's on bottom. Personally, for me, this is a live bet spot for Tisha Pennington, largely because I don't know what she's going to look like off of her pregnancy. And I do have a feeling that the market's probably going to overcorrect itself on live markets because of this pregnancy narrative. So as soon as the fight starts, I might actually get a better number. Because it seems like a lot of these random narratives, they end up pushing things like last weekend with Aldo through the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of round 1, I was able to snag Aldo at like plus 130. The same as the money line when he looked perfectly fine and just as fast as he was pre-layoff and quote unquote pre-retirement. So I feel like this is a good spot to live bet Torres if you like that side. I am never paying juice for Tabitha Ricci. Never. It's a dog or pass fight for me.
Yeah, I bought that narrative with Aldo last week. I bet Jonathan Martinez, and he got his ass kicked for 15 minutes.
Can I ask what was his upside in that fight for you that got you to bet him?
Literally everything you just said. Just being a square and taking the narrative. Aldo's been boxing. Aldo has been fought in 2 years. Aldo hasn't this. Going into the King of Rio, it was kind of on short notice. Younger guy, thought he would be hungrier. Honestly, I knew he'd have struggle with the boxing. I thought he'd get his leg kick game going. He didn't even get it going at all, to be honest. What did he throw? How many kicks? 6, 7, I think. So, I don't know. He didn't even stick to his strong game. Aldo manhandled him, honestly. And Aldo actually, I didn't look too far into it. Aldo actually looked huge in that cage fighting him. He made him look like very small, and I kind of was like, damn, this was such easy money. I cannot believe I didn't bet Aldo here. So when you're wrong, you got to admit you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I thought Martinez could have got his leg kick game going, but as soon as I saw he wasn't initially going to it in the fight, it was an easy live bet spot for Aldo because he's shown historically elite leg kick defense and elite defensive and just elite defense in general. So for me, I felt like that was like a perfect live bet spot. And I like to use the narrative kind of as a opportunity to enter in on a better live number. So I feel like this is a spot if you do think that way.
Interesting. Drav, any different here?
Not really. To be honest, I don't have a strong read on this one. I think Ricci's probably gonna win, just because like she's younger. She has been way more active. I was looking into just I'm not gonna break down the fight because you guys already did, and I don't have much to add. But yeah, just looking at Tisha Pennington resume, she fought Dern in 2022, and before that she fought Hill in 2021, and then it was in 2020. So yeah, she fought a lot in 2019, 2020, but since 2021, she has not been active. Two fights in like what 3 years, and then big layoff, 2 years layoff, coming back after pregnancy. It's not good, man. I think Ricci has like six or seven fights since then. So, and she's with the Callum Smith, I think, the boxer. You can see that she's training hard, and you can see that I think her boxing looked better in her last fight. I'll say that against Lupi. Lupi's pretty good boxer, man, and Ricci had some moment, and she looks to have a little bit more power now. So yeah, and she's very athletic. So is Torres. She looks to be in good shape even after a pregnancy. So yeah, but we see more often than not after a big layoff and getting birds, sometimes these women come back and the first fight is not always great. So I don't want to bet Torres, but I think if Ricci gets to like plus money somehow, I think she has to be a bet. But I think now minus 140, minus 150, that's like exactly where it should be. So I'm not betting it, but I think she should win and win probably by decision. Torres pretty durable, but even by decision, you don't even get like plus 125 on it. You get like minus 110. That's fucking annoying. Like if I can get like Ricci decision plus 125, plus 130, then we're talking. But yeah, we're not getting that. So fuck this fight.
Yeah, I like Ricci money line. I don't know. I just think younger girl constantly improving.
Yeah, she should win, but she's gonna make it close.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be close. I think like I was just saying, younger girl constantly improving, looking better each time. Definitely wants to string together a win. Tisha Torres, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with her. I don't know. I kind of think Ricci's aside, minus 140. I don't know if I'd play that. I think the odds will get closer. I mean, lines usually move on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays on weigh-in day. Maybe, I mean, if you go on Tisha Torres' Instagram, she looks fucking phenomenal. Like, not like I would, but in the sense of like jacked and strong and good at fighting. Ricci on the other hand, Ricci on the other hand, I would. And she is strong. She can grapple, everything like that. So I think Ricci money line is probably the way to play this. But like I said, I probably wouldn't play it at this price. Wait till the weigh-in.
That's what he's trying to say, boys.
Oh yeah, watching that Ricci fight with never mind. I don't even want to go into this.
Not betting the lesbian is minus EV here, guys. That's what. Yeah. Always bet the lesbian. So I don't get this on it. I don't understand. It's lesbian.
Yeah.
You might be fucked, Peg.
Yeah, I know. All right, next fight. T-Rex, Terrence McKinney, 29, 5'10" with a 73.5-inch reach versus Esteban Ribovics, 28, 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. Action on these two guys. You can get McKinney anywhere from plus, that's weird. It's not even showing me the highest, plus 141 to plus 130. You can get Ribovics anywhere from minus 153 to minus 160, 170, or 184 actually on my bookie. Does anyone actually use my bookie? Is that like a real thing? I was going to say, I've never, like, you see Colby Covington always talking about it and all these people who are sponsored, but I've never seen like anyone actually post a my bookie ticket. So that's besides the point. I'll go first here real quick. I think this is, I played the under in a parlay. I think that's pretty safe. McKinney's the king of under 1.5. I mean, you'll never see 2.5. If you do, put your mortgage on it. But I parlayed the under 1.5. I think T-Rex is going to go directly and right after Ribovics. Ribovics kind of starts a little slow sometimes and doesn't always fare well with the pressure early, but always puts it together later. I think this is a perfect spot to go in live on Ribovics if T-Rex has a good round one. That's the way I'd probably play this. But okay, so yeah, he played it and it was awful. So I think Ribovics after round one and the under is probably a good bet for me. Dog, you go next. What do you think about this one?
I think the perfect way to play this fight is the under. I don't know if I'm going to take the under straight yet. I don't really parlay anything. And I definitely don't. I don't like parlaying totals more specifically. It's just not something for my style. I'll probably, depending on where the line goes, I want it around minus 200 for this under. But to be honest with you, it could look 90%. It's a Terrence McKinney fight at the end of the day. The guy is ultra dangerous, and he is super skilled. But he also is a massive flake. He has awful striking defense. He has no cardio. And Ribovics is very hittable. He can be grappled. He hasn't been submitted yet, but McKinney will sell out for chokes. We've seen Ribovics rocked in a bunch of fights by less dangerous strikers. Loic's a very dangerous striker, in my opinion. He's got heavy hands, but Ribovics seems pretty durable, but you can only get cracked on the chin so many times and, live to tell the tale. I feel like this unders could look big value, but personally, the way I want to play this fight is take the under 1.5 at around minus 200, 225. And then Ribovics round 2 actually is plus 650 on DraftKings right now. To me, that's an insane way to play this fight. I think it's the perfect way to play this fight. If this fight doesn't end in under 1.5, McKinney's fucked, right? Like there's no way he's winning round 2 and 3 or making it out of round 2. He's dead. Like, there's no way if this goes to round 3, I mean, if it goes to round 3, and I lose on both of these bets, so be it. I don't really care. I've watched enough of these guys fight, and if it gets to round 3, nothing makes a lot of sense anymore to me. So, personally, I think the best way to play this fight is this. You just play this juiced under, or you parlay it like you've done. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But if this if it doesn't finish in under 1.5, the chances of Ribovics finishing in round 2 at plus 650, that's sub NKO. Just straight up is plus 650 right now. The submission line's plus 2,500. I am definitely taking the poke on sub 2 at plus 2,500 for Ribovics. Maybe McKinney flakes on bottom to a Kimura. Maybe he gets club and subbed. It's plus 2,500. McKinney loves
leg lock.
Yeah. Why not? I can't not play this number on round 2 Ribovics and the under. It makes way too much sense for me. It's probably one of my favorite spots this week.
You may be able to that could even happen early in round 2 where you cash both. You cash the under and you get that. Well, now we're really talking.
Right, dude, when he comes out to round 2, he's dead. It's over for him,
Yep.
And to be honest, if I lose a quarter unit on the round 2 prop, but I win a unit and a half on the under, I don't give a shit. I'm up a unit and a quarter, right? Yep. But if I hit that sweet spot, dude, I'm up 3 units and I only had to stake 2.
Yeah.
3. Actually, I'm up way more than that.
You're up way more. I was gonna say you're up 4 units or so.
Yeah, I'd be up 4 or 5 units if ends when in theory McKinney should be dead.
Yep. That's definitely
which is the beginning of round, which is in theory the beginning of round 2 when he can't get off the stool.
True, it's true. Goff, what do you think here?
Yeah, man, I'm shocked, bro. I didn't know it was plus 650 for the round 2. It's fucking crazy, dude. I think McKinney's alive against anyone in round 1. He's just crazy guy in round 1, and he has nasty power, super aggressive, and he put himself in danger. The under 1.5, guys, dude, don't stress it. Whatever juice it is, you can parlay it. I think it's one of the best parlay piece. If you were in the dog club, you got the early number minus 200. Like you said, dog, that's the number you wanted. Minus 200 for the under 1.5. I was like, what are we doing here? And it stick around minus 225 for a long time. Actually, just switched to minus 260 now, which, I mean, Ribovics, like you said, he got cracked against Ruziboev. I mean, he got cracked 2-3 times in round 1. He's a dog though, 4 times, right? Yeah, I know it was a lot of time. Ruziboev, he hit hard, but he's not an elite finisher like McKinney is in round 1. So McKinney's live to catch him early. I was listening to which podcast it is, the Santino podcast.
Yeah, Santino DeFranco selling. Yeah, he was talking about how McKinney will sell out for the RNC.
Yeah, and he asked Camilo Kirk in the background, that was interesting. Shout out to them. They asked Kirk because he just fought Ribovics, and you guys remember Kirk? Like he had Ribovics, he had his back and full. I bet Kirk there, and he was like full control round one. He had the back, everything, and he's a legit black belt, Kamil Kirk, you know. So he asked him like, why did you get the rear naked choke? Did you think I would get it and stuff like that? And he was like, he was doing all the right things, man. He was like fighting the end perfectly, and he had very good submission defense. But now they were like saying if McKinney sell out on the choke, maybe he's gonna get it. But yeah, it proved this. I saw the same thing on tape. I think his grappling is pretty good. His takedown defense is not good though. I think McKinney can get takedowns early. But when he's gonna get tired, like Ribovics, he can defend takedowns. But when McKinney try to shoot him, the takedown's not working. I think he's gonna get finished. Ribovics, you know, he's like I said, he can get cracked, but he's a dog and he has power. He loves this camera when he's on the mat, you know. So I feel like the sub is live for Ribovics, but he really do prefer the knockout if we're being honest. So I think he's gonna knock him out. I don't mind the sub to you at crazy number, but I think he's gonna finish McKinney at the end of the first round or maybe early second round. So yeah, Ribovics round two, it's plus 650. If I can get something close to that, I'm probably gonna have that. And yeah, I had the under 1.5 at minus 200. I think now it's still playable. I think it go unders 1.5 at like 80% clip. I'm not tripping. Like McKinney is never going under. He's in under machine. Like he's just kill or be kill, and he's live to kill anyone in round one. So yeah. But Ribovic sometimes he can be a little bit of slow starter. He can be content to like let the fight slip. So maybe he gets into round two and then he finish it. So dog, you're gonna catch a big bag if he does. So yeah, I hope he does it under 1.5, and I'm gonna be looking into round two myself if I can get
what's the under 1.5 right now? Because I didn't get the chance to bet it when the limits were big enough.
On Bet Online it's minus 260, but I don't think it's the best price though. Let me just check.
Probably like FanDuel.
You can get minus 222 on CloudBet. Minus 250 on DraftKings, it's not bad, and minus 240 on Pinnacle, but I don't think it's a good number. I don't think it's the true line. You check. Yeah, minus 250, minus 240. It's like I would still play it personally. Like I've made a lot of money on McKinney under all of his UFC career. Oh, it's minus 228 on Pinnacle. I would take that. Yeah.
I'll probably get off this and put something on it because. When I think I missed it. I think it was like 225, and limits opened up, and then it got steamed to minus 250 because they were still like 500. As soon as they went over 500, it got steamed. I think.
Yeah, it makes sense. But minus 228, it's like 69. It's 70% close to. So yeah, I think it goes under at 80%. So even if it's super chalk, you still get like 10% value on it, which is good.
Key.
Yeah. It's crazy because we didn't talk.
Screaming?
Huh?
It sounds like you're screaming right now.
For real?
Or you're in a cave. One of the two. Oh, that's the infamous dog. There's the dog.
Am I straight now?
Yeah, you're better now.
All right. Yeah, it's funny because we didn't talk, any of us, and especially me and Dogfather, we didn't talk at all before the show. And 26 minutes ago, while on stream, I played Ribovics KO, round 2 KO at plus 800.
But where is that? Where is these?
DraftKings.
Fuck.
Dude, all right. Now I'm going to start fishing. Now I'm going fishing.
Yeah, so I saw this line literally on stream while we were talking about one of our first fights, and I was very, very surprised. I don't have to go into a read. I think that y'all did a good job of summing up the fight beforehand. Like you said, McKinney's probably going to have a fucking stroke if he sees round two. I think that Ribovics does anything he wants to him. Sub at plus 2,500 worth of poke. I personally played the plus 800 just because Ribovics he got like fucking 3 or 4 straight Kimuras, and that's where his subs come from. I mean, he was just out there drilling on the regional scene pretty much. I think that he'll get the KO here. I'm big on Ribovics in general here. I think that he's live in round 1. I think that he's going to look good, period, in this fight. So not only round 2 KO I'll be on, I'm going to figure out some other ways to play him. I'm not big on wanting to play the money line, but underdog fans seeing better is probably going to give me some good lines and some value. So I'm definitely going to probably be looking to play it over there. But yeah, I think this is a Ribovics spot. I think that the jig is sort of up for McKinney. I think that he's a can crusher at this level. I will say he'll probably get the back in round 1. I think that that's a pretty good round 1 sub is okay. But I think that's pretty much round 1 sub or bust. It's Terrence McKinney at the end of the day. If you have a pulse after 5 minutes, he decides the fight is over. So, so Ribovics KO round 2 plus 800. I love it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Next fight we have is we have made no progress. I'm going to miss this whole next game. Chase Hooper versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. Slava Claus. Chase Hooper, 24, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. He's fighting 32-year-old, 5'11", 69-inch reach, Slava Claus. Line there down these two. Chase Hooper plus 124 to plus 110. Slava Claus minus 136 to minus 150. Chase Hooper seems to be like dog of the week for people all over Twitter, everything like that. Drav, start us off. Do you think Chase Hooper finds a sub? I mean, I was staring at that plus 375 on Bet Online. It moved right in front of my eyes, and I lost it. I wonder what it is on DraftKings. I'm actually about to check that. But what do you think happens here? Knockout by Slava or sub by Hooper?
I think Borshchev's gonna knock him out. Borshchev's striking is elite in my opinion. Like, he's very good, and Hooper, he has no striking defense whatsoever. And the Steve Garcia fight still there too. Still in my head, he got brutally knocked out. Like, he got knocked down a couple times and he got finished. And Borshchev striking, his leg kicks, I think 2-3 leg kicks, and Hooper's gonna his leg's gonna be fucked up, to be honest. And like I said, it's probably minus 1,000 on the feet, but then on the ground, if Hooper's able to get his wrestling game going, which I don't rate his wrestling, by the way. I don't think it's good. I think his grappling is pretty good, though. If he gets to the back, might be trouble. We have seen Borshchev in some sketchy position on the mat, but he fought I bet Mike Davis pretty big. He was minus 160 back then, but Mike Davis could strike with him. He was physical, and he had good wrestling to take him down. Now Hooper is not physical, in my opinion. He's long, he's tall, but he's not physical at 155. He doesn't have the striking to mix up his takedowns, and he doesn't have the wrestling to get the fight to the mat. So he's gonna need a back take or something crazy to get him down. And I don't see it happening. And if the fight stays standing, I think Borshchev's gonna destroy him. But I feel like the winner is probably gonna be the winner is gonna look like a big favorite after the fight. If Hooper just gets his back early, it might be done. But yeah, he's a BJJ black belt, elite grappling, pretty decent ground and pound. So I think Borshchev's the side here, but I'm not I know, T, you're probably more confident than me, but I still have some concern about Borshchev grappling defense and takedown defense is pretty poor, but I just don't see Hooper getting his takedowns going. So with that being said, if he's stuck on the feet, he's gonna die.
I agree. I think the Slava Claus has sustainable takedown defense, but we saw a few clips online. I think Joe Kelly, something one of the guys, John Kelly, he put up a video of showing, him defending the takedowns, he pushes everyone right to a back take. He does that to Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is going to take his back. We watched in the Nazim fight. If you watch round 2, round 3, granted, he was probably fucking tired as hell in round 3, but I mean, you're a white belt if you can't stop someone from putting knee on belly. And Nazim went full knee on belly to full mount on Slava Claus in round 3. So obviously on the ground, his jiu-jitsu is not great. I think there's a massive disparity in jiu-jitsu, but on the feet, there's a massive disparity in striking, like astronomical. So you kind of got to debate where is Hooper better on the ground, or is Slava better on the feet? I'm willing to probably say Slava beats him on the feet. So I'm probably going to say Slava, but I'm probably not going to touch this fight unless we get a good Hooper prop. But because I know Slava by KO is like only plus 105, so it's not even worth it. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm just like I don't have any piss down my leg at all. I got a little bit of piss down my leg. I got 4 units, Slava minus 135. Am I the most excited? No. But Slava his winning condition looks minus 700. And you damn right that I'm going to victory lap the fuck out of it. I think that Slava is a side. I capped this at around minus 225 range.
Okay.
I think that he's the side here, obviously. I think the calf kicks, Hooper's literally going to be spinning around in circles. I think that in terms of offensive boxing, if we're just talking strictly boxing in the UFC, Slava is like damn near as beautiful as it gets. The combos and the shots that he strings together, the body work, the Nas fight, he deserved to win if he didn't just get touched at the fucking top of his head in round 2 and randomly died. He actually ate the head kick that followed, which was confusing as hell. Ate the head kick and was able to stay alive, and then rallied for a good round 3 to get the draw. But I bet Slava these last 2 times out. I'm happy to do it again here. Now, is there a world where Hooper gets the back and chokes him out? Yes. But I don't think there's some instant sub. I mean, let's be real here. Slava was able to survive for a long period of time with Mike Davis, who I rate very highly on the ground. And I think that at this point in Hooper's career, I think that he's just not physical enough. I think that the physicality difference is massive here. You have to think at Team Alpha Male, Slava's been getting wrestling work nonstop. If they can't game plan for this fight and tell Slava, Jesus Christ, like just don't give up your back, then I think that we're in business here. Hooper has to walk through hell early. I think this is going to look similar to the Steve Garcia fight. I'm not sure. People were just having like literal like Twitter civil wars. Like I'm old enough to remember whenever we were having civil wars over fucking Nick Fiore and Chase Hooper. And now we're just talking like Hooper's supposed to walk through Slava pretty much. Like, let's be real here. I think that Hooper's gotten favorable matchmaking. If he pulls this off, I mean, hats off to him. I just don't think that it's going to happen. I think that Slava's going to absolutely brutalize him. I think it's going to look very, very similar to the Steve Garcia fight where Hooper just gets touched and touched and touched. And because he was still doing the same sloppy striking against Fiore, he just got away with it because Fiore just isn't a fighter. But I think that there's a Slava spot. I'm very confident that he gets the knockout here. I think it comes round 1. I think that Hooper has to get a very favorable random grappling scramble / exchange early for him to really get into this fight. Otherwise, I think that if he spends more than 2 minutes here without any grappling, I think that he's completely fucked. So at this, I'm not necessarily happy with 4 units, but mama ain't raised no bitch. So we either go down with Slava or we go up. So Slava to the end.
This guy said you're a brave man. I agree. Dog, did you go yet? What do you think for this one?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised everybody has such a confident take on this fight. Personally, these are the fights I love to stay away from because the outcome is not really predictable at all. I find it challenging to get an edge on these fights when, to be honest, everybody's assuming if you're betting one side, the outcome is, massively predictable. But, each side has massive value if the winner looks minus, 500. So these are the type of fights that I like to pass. We don't really know Slava can stuff a takedown, regardless of how shitty Chase Hooper's wrestling is. This dude can't stuff a takedown to save his fucking life. So I don't think he has the hips to stuff a takedown, even if Hooper can't really wrestle that well. And, Hooper couldn't, fucking hit water if he fell out of a boat on the feet. So either way, I think this fight's a massive pass from the money line perspective, because I don't really know how we can get a predictive outcome here that you can find an edge on. So it's a pass from the money line side. I personally actually probably favor the overs here, largely because Hooper is pretty tough. Steve Garcia hits like a truck. He hits way, 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 way harder than Slava Claus. One punch knockout power guy. Slava doesn't really have one punch knockout power guy unless you're Mahashate. He hasn't really done that in the UFC. Hooper is actually a pretty durable guy. We've seen guys put out by one punch from Steve Garcia, like Mel Costa, one punch done, and he got brutalized. It took Garcia literally beating the brakes off of Chase Hooper before he had to quit. And in that period of time, there is opportunity for him to get in a grappling exchange, but also get killed. So this fight's a massive pass for me. I favor the over here at around pick'em price. I think that could have the most value. I feel like Hooper's a really tough guy. And the grappling exchanges or cage push could slow down this fight. So I don't really know how you can pick a side here personally. It's a pass from money line perspective. I like the total. I like the over. I probably won't bet it though. I'll probably just watch and laugh and, be scrolling up on Twitter as everybody laps for this fight because it'll be hilarious. But outside of that, I really don't like betting on these fights where the outcome really is not predictable at all.
All right. I guess, I think he is pretty big. I think he's growing into it, but I don't know. This is going to be an interesting one. Kind of like Dog said, I'm not really going to touch this one. I'm going to try not to. I would have played props, and that's about it.
For what it's worth, I think there's a difference between being long, pause, and being big. I think that Hooper's just long. I don't necessarily know if he's big in terms of physicality at this weight class. I think that he may be big at 45, but in terms of physicality, I don't think that he's big here. He's just long. Pause.
He might be filling in a little bit. He was priorly fighting at 45, and the kid's 20. He's 23 or 24. Now that he's not cutting as much weight and having to keep his weight down as much, he might be putting on some muscle and some size. So I wouldn't really rule it out of the question that he might look a little bit improved. Yeah, he's definitely lengthy. Girth maybe not much. He might be packing on some girth though with this new fight and in the really filling into his body here. So we don't really know what the girth's going to look like, but we'll find out soon enough.
All right, next one, people's main event. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Robelis Despaigne. Waldo Cortez is 32, 6'4", the 78-inch reach. Robelis Despaigne is 35, 6'7", with an 87-inch reach. It's crazy. Just a specimen. Despaigne anywhere from minus 200 to minus 230. Waldo Cortez anywhere from plus 195 to plus 170. I'll start off first just because I got a quick one. I threw a half a unit on Waldo Cortez plus 205. Why? Because I'm going to obviously fade a guy who has 38 seconds of fight time total versus a guy who, has fought in I'm not saying he's fought the best competition in the UFC, but he's fought some competition in the UFC. So I just don't think anything of it. I'm willing to toss one unit or half a unit to win one unit and just wish for the best just because, there's going to be a time to fade him. Is it this time? Probably not. They're trying to build him up. But eventually there will be a time to fade him. I don't know when it is, but half a unit at 2-1 odds, I'll take it any day of the week. Dog, did you go first last time? Either way, you go again. Go ahead. Go again. This one should be quick for everyone. I don't think there's much to say about this fight. I don't think. Right?
No. You bet. If you bet Robelis under 60 seconds. He's gone with the wind here. Costa's going to be gone with the wind here. There's a couple interesting ways to play this fight. I feel like if you're like a same game parlay guy, you can get under half a round, which is probably Robelis' win condition on Bet Online. Or no, sorry, on DraftKings. Under half a round, I believe KO and Robelis at plus 300. We're looking at plus 25% for this guy's freaking win condition. I have to bet that. At the end of the day, you're giving me 25% on this guy's win condition in his whole entire career, and he hasn't shown me anything else. Okay, that's fine. I'll bet it. He's a minus, 200, 250 favorite, and you're giving me a 25% predicted outcome on something that this guy hasn't shown he can do anything other than. So, yes, under 0.5 rounds. Yeah, you can use that as an alternate total on BetOnline or on DraftKings. It's like plus 250, and if you add, actually, you could literally just play the under 0.5 rounds at plus 250 right now. So I'm gonna do that. Call it a day and wipe my hands clean of this fight. So
Wait. You can. Let me run that back. You can play under half a round for plus 250 on DraftKings.
You can play under half a round for Ribovics Despaigne at plus 300.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
That's why you had to get me on the show.
Yeah. I'm learning more and more every time.
We could also do this on Bet365. I think I showed you this last weekend where Bet365 messed that thing up and I would have won like $30,000. And they revised the odds. But if you want to do something and you have Bet365 and you're watching the show, you could do like an under 1.5 rounds on Bet365 and like a same game parlay and fade Acosta's significant strikes in round one. So you could take under 1.5 at minus 250 and Rubelis and under whatever, Acosta's significant strike total is supposed to be in round one, and probably get something around like the plus 250, maybe even 350 range on that as well. So I think if you play this fight, you play the under. If you like Despaigne, you play the under half a round. That's what I'm going to do. I also like the under here at minus 200. I think this under could look 80%. It could look 90% like it did in the Parisian fight where the dude just dies instantly. I played, Rubelis under 60 seconds there. It was like plus 600, probably one of the easiest bets I've ever made in my entire life. And I'm going to do it again until this guy shows me something else.
Okay. That's fair. Key, anything different?
Yeah. I mean, that's, you can't find a better way to play it. Outside of what I got on Underdog Fantasy, his over fantasy points, and two-man slips, which fixed payouts end up being about minus 137. So pretty much getting minus 137, Rubelis money line, which I think that he's going to nuke him early. This feels sort of like a punishment fight for Waldo after the shit show that he put on against Andre. I think that the UFC sort of teeing up one for Rubelis. Like I said, I think there's a Rubelis spot. There's not much to talk about here. I will say it will be interesting to see, though. Like, once he gets tested outside of 2 minutes, like, what does this look like? I think this is a fun little experiment. So, yeah, the Cuban Missile, I think that he's going to get done.
Cuban Missile. All right, Jav, anything different from you? Or do we move on here?
Oh yeah, no, not really. I just I don't think the fade's gonna came on Despaigne, but give me like a good grappler with a good chin or something. Then someone's gonna shoot takedowns. Acosta's not gonna grapple him. He's gonna box with him, and I don't want someone to box with this dude because he has brick in his hand and he's a physical freak. So yeah, he's probably gonna knock him out. But Acosta's pretty durable, So gonna be interesting if he survive early. I just don't think he will. But yeah, to me, it's just I'm gonna enjoy the fight. But yeah, Peg, I'm hoping for the best for you with Acosta. But you bet like plus 250 or something, right?
Yeah, and it was I think it was 215, and it was for half a unit. So I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna not take 2-1 odds on a guy who has 37 seconds of fight tape total in his whole career.
I bet you it closes deeper than that, though.
Yeah, the line.
Yeah, I thought isn't it plus 175 right now? What is it right now?
Plus 200 already.
Plus 209.
Is it really? Dude, it went all the way down and
came
all the way back. Amazing. It was at plus 100 on April 23rd. It was at plus 100. Pick up. Crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with him being a big favorite, but it's just hard to trust him because he has not proven me anything. But yeah, the under is probably good.
I gotta play under 60 seconds and under half a round. Like, there's only so many opportunities I get to play these like meme ass bets, And like, this is the time to play under 60 seconds. I have to do it. It'll be like plus 500, but I'm going to do it. It's way too much fun.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy. All right. Next fight is Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. Alex Caceres, he's 35, 5'10 with a 73-inch reach out of MMA Lab. He's fighting 31-year-old Sean Woodson. He's 6'2 with a 78-inch reach. Action on these two guys, you can get Caceres anywhere from plus 185 to plus 152. You get Woodson anywhere from minus 194 to minus 225. Key, go first for us. What do you think? Do you think Caceres has that dog in him to finish Woodson, or is Woodson going to take out the old man early?
I'm honestly like I'm a huge Sean Woodson fan. That's crazy. But I'm a huge Sean Woodson fan. But this is just a weird sort of matchup here. I think the guys that are going to give Woodson problems are guys like Luis Saldana, guys who have some sort of power, who have actual hand speed. And Caceres has speed, but he hits like a fucking feather. So I think you have to chin Woodson. You have to actually hurt him to cause real problems. Otherwise, I think that you're just giving him too much time and too much in between space to actually operate. And in boxing range, I mean, it's pretty fun to watch him get off. Pause. But it's pretty fun to watch him get off at boxing range. And I think that there's a fight where if it does drag out and he can find a way, I think that there's going to be some grappling scrambles here. It'll be pretty fun because I think that both guys are good grapplers. But at minus minus 220? I mean, Jesus. I mean, that's disgusting. Yeah, it's dog or pass from a money line perspective, and I'm not very bullish on Caceres, so this is a complete pass fight for me.
Okay, Drav.
Yeah, I was hoping again to get a decent line on Woodson by decision, but they're kind of all over it. Maybe I'm gonna get something on another book, but with what I can get so far, the best is plus 110, and I wanted plus 150, so it's not like close to what I wanted. But yeah, I feel like Woodson should win this. He should look good. Yeah, there's some theory about him having like a garbage chin. He got cracked and he looks terrible against Saldana, but like his chin's not terrible, you know. He got cracked and he got hurt, and he still like Saldana cussed him the fight, like he cussed himself the fight. Just too bad for him. But yeah, Caceres is not a power puncher. So to beat Woodson, you have to either pressure like Erosa did. You need to have power, or you need just to grapple and be a good grappler. Caceres is not gonna wrestle. He's just not shooting takedowns. I think he has like 3 takedowns since the last 5-6 years. Last time I checked, something crazy like that. Maybe he can jump on his back. He has good back take, but yeah, again, I don't see him getting takedowns. He doesn't have the power to knock him out. I think his knockout upside is like a head kick or something. That's possible. You can get plus 1800 on Caceres by knockout, but you know that's not likely. So then Caceres is gonna strike at distance with him, and that's exactly the fight that Woodson won. He's a better boxer than Caceres. He's younger. He's gonna throw more volume, and yeah, he's gonna be longer. He's gonna be taller. Yeah, I just feel like he's gonna be able to piece him up in the boxing. And Caceres is what, 37 years old soon?
35, bro.
35. Oh, 36. He's gonna be 36 in like 2 days. So yeah, he's 36, and yeah, I don't think he's a good. I don't think he has a style to beat Woodson. So I think Woodson's gonna win a decision. It's probably gonna be close. Looking at the GTD, you can get minus 225 on some book. It's pretty decent. I'm probably gonna end up betting that, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, Woodson should win, but I'm not interested in the prices.
Alex Caceres money line. He's the bet. He's the side. He's gonna beat him. next fight we are looking at is
Why is gonna be him, Peg? Why is gonna...
he's just gonna do it. I don't know what it is. He's just like Nike, just do it.
I'll be on Caceres.
I think so too. I just think, like, I'm gonna be honest. Has Sean Woodson? I don't know. I'm not impressed by him at all. Sure, he's got a great jab and he's super long and everything like that, and he can tall man wrestle because all he has to do is spread his fucking legs and stop the takedown. Congrats, that's great. But like, knock on wood, this fight hits the mat. What does this fight look like? Caceres is gonna mop the floor with him. So say that does happen. That's a win on Caceres' side. On the striking, sure, sitting behind the jab, Woodson will win, obviously. But there's no like benefit in taking that. Like, I just don't think, like, there's not much of an edge. There's no value there. All the value is on Caceres plus 185 on Bet Online. Like, I think that there are chances that he does win. He looked pretty good against Giga, and Giga, who I rate higher than Woodson, and he had a broken arm in the first round, and he did pretty well with one arm. So, like, I don't know. He's got that dog in him. He's got the grappling upside. He's not that good of a striker. I think it's dog or pass here for me personally.
I have a question for you. Since 2016, how many takedowns do you think he got in his career in the UFC?
Sounds like not that many based off the way you asked me that.
No, trying to guess, because you're talking about, like, maybe wrestling.
Four.
Yeah, you're close. It's 5 since 2016. So in the last 8 years, he got 5 takedowns.
Dude, crazier things have happened, man. Crazier things have happened. I mean, Sean Woodson, are we not going to talk about what the Saldana fight? Wasn't Saldana had him beat, and then he was that the right? Am I thinking the right fight with the knee? And he got disqualified?
Yeah, but
yeah,
again,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Something tells me Caceres here. I think Caceres gets it done. I think it's dog or pass. Like I said, I don't think there's any value on Sean Woodson minus 220, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Like, this is a big, market recency bias spot. At the end of the day, Woodson was plus 185, almost 200 range to Charles Jourdain. That fight opened up a pick'em, and now we're seeing the complete inverse of that, right? This opens up a pick'em, and now Sean Woodson decides the market decides that Sean Woodson should be minus 225 against a guy who is actually, if you go back in Woodson's resume, this is probably the best guy he's fought in his entire career in terms of experience, in terms of level of comp, in terms of well-rounded skills. I understand that, Caceres really isn't a wrestler, but in a lot of Bruce Leroy fights, if you notice, when somebody engages in the grappling, he will look to grapple, and he's a good grappler. And if anything's been noticed in the recent Sean Woodson fights, he's looking to grapple. He looked to grapple Dylan, whatever his name is, Bazooka on short notice. He looked to grapple Bazooka on short notice, and he looked to grapple Jourdain in his last fight. Caceres won't engage in the grappling unless you do, and he's the better grappler here, and that's not really close in my opinion. On the feet, Caceres does do a good job at making the fight a lot closer than it needs to be because of his footwork and his speed. Woodson does a good job at cutting off and switching stances, but even in the Arosa fight, if you go back and watch the Arosa fight, Caceres was giving Arosa issues with his footwork and movement. Woodson doesn't really move laterally well. He just moves forward and backwards. If you watch a lot of his fights, he just kind of plots forward with the Muay Thai kind of style and switches stances forward. He doesn't move side to side at all. And I think that's going to give him a lot of issues here. I think he should be like minus 120, honestly, like 55% maybe to win this fight. I'll probably have a decent sized wager on Caceres, but I'm not really sure how big I want to go because he just kind of chooses to kind of give fights away. The Sadiq Youssef fight was just kind of what's keeping me off of having a bigger position on this because he was actually boxing Youssef up. He was landing far better than Sadiq Youssef was on the feet.
And those are leg kicks.
Yeah, it was just leg kicks. So just like little things like that where, he doesn't, there's no change in game plan, right? So I can't go big on Caceres, but I actually think this line should be like closer to pick him. I think this line is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't bet Woodson, by the way. Like I think he should be favorite, but like minus 150, that's where I have him. Minus 150. So I agree that the price getting a little bit crazy now. If we get to like Caceres plus 200, we're betting numbers at the end of the day. So I think at the current price, he's probably the side betting wise, but I just don't see him winning because he's just gonna fight Woodson fight. That's my concern here. He's not gonna pressure him. So that's my thing.
It's crazy. The dog father took everything I was thinking right out of my mouth, put it into words, and it came out great. I couldn't agree more. Plus 185, plus 200, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, the issue is, though, if you go back and watch Caceres tape, like, he just kind of gives fights away.
Yeah,
that
he does.
decision. And that's what makes it challenging to bet on him here because Woodson is a good minute winner. But the issue with Woodson is his margins suck. Like, he's clearly winning the Jourdain fight and somehow still goes to split decision. He's clearly winning. He's not even clearly winning the Zalal fight. Like, he literally concedes cage control for almost 10 to 15 minutes of that fight, and it goes to split because he just can't do anything to separate himself. And then, the Bazooka fight is way closer than it needs to be, and the only reason is Bazooka's just, gassing out, after 10 minutes because, he's on short note, on like a week's notice and had to cut like 1 million pounds and miss weight. So to be honest, I think, big over correction here, but it's hard to bet on, Caceres knowing he's going to lose like a 29-28 and you're going to be like, oh wow, that was so and then you throw the ticket in the trash.
Yeah, literally. All right, next fight should be an interesting one. We got Diego Ferreira versus Matus Rebecki. I didn't know he goes by Rabisti. That's funny. Diego Ferreira, he's 39, 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. Rebecki is 31, 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. Right now, Ferreira is plus 332 to plus 300. Rebecki is minus 400 to minus 395 to minus 427. Key, I mean, Rebecki's going to smash this guy, right? Does he deserve minus 400? No. But I think he smashes this guy probably at a minus 250, minus 300 clip. What do you think?
I'm not paying any amount of money to see Rebecki fend off 30 fucking omoplatas and triangle attempts. I'm good on this fight. I think that Rebecki is going to have success on the feet. But if he does wrestle, I'm cool with off that. Like Diego has caused problems for damn near anybody on the ground, and I'm cool off betting Rebecki to be smart and keep this standing. I hate it for Michael Johnson losing that fight after looking good up until he got KO'd. But yeah, this is Rebecki minus 400. Yuck. If you're parlaying that, call the number, call a psych ward, one of the two. But this is a pass fight for me.
I wonder what number pick got in the parlay.
All right, I'm back here.
What number you parlay him at?
One you wouldn't believe. I got him at exactly where I wanted him, minus 310. I played minus 260 on the under for McKinney and minus 310 for Rebecki. I said he's good from minus 250 to minus 325, 350.
Look at him. You said minus 250 to minus 300, and you parlay minus 310. And he's like, oh, minus 3.
Minus 325 to minus 350 looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I don't agree, bro. I think the line's crazy, but I prefer the under than betting aside here.
That's true. That's probably.
I was kind of impressed with Ferreira going back into tapes. Like, the dude's grappling is a super legit. Like, you guys know Gregor Gillespie and you know Benil Dariush and Gamrat. They're these dude wrestling grappling is like,
oh yeah, next level.
And,
Gregor's the best in MMA.
And I mean, dude, Ferreira almost finished Gillespie a couple of times. He put it on him, you know? That was a crazy pace. And he got finished in that fight. He missed weight, 160 pounds, so maybe something to do with that. He kind of quit at the end of the fight, but like, to be fair, that was a crazy fight. He gave a fight to Dariush. Again, that was a close fight. The Gamrot fight, I think he was maybe on his way to win before he got injured. And then the Michael Johnson fight, he was not looking too good, if we're being honest, but he still find a kill shot. So yeah, to me here, the biggest question is, do you think Rebecki is going to grapple or not? Do you think he's going to shoot takedowns? If the question is yes, then Ferreira has to be the side. No question about it. Like, Ferreira is better grappler than Rebecki. I think it's clear. And he's a tough muffle to control, man. Rebecki's not going to control this dude. And when he got dead ass tired against Nick Fury, what did he try to do? You guys remember? When he was tired at the end of round 2, what did he try to do? And round 2 and in the round 3 against Nick Fury. Hey, you didn't run the tape, did you?
For the Fury fight, I can't remember off the top of my head. I watched so much tape, I couldn't remember it. Could you tell me?
Look at him. I'm sure he didn't watch it. But yeah, I mean, he was tired at the end of the round. He put it on him. He didn't finish him. And then he just lay on top. He's not going to be able to lay on top with Ferreira. He's just not going to allow that. So Ferreira is going to throw us subs, and he's just going to go crazy, you know? And I think his cardio is impressive. So based on this number, the market's telling you Ferreira's too old and he's washed. I'm not ready to believe that, and that's a big step up in competition for Rebecki. Like, he beat Roberts first round sub, but he actually gave up the position to get the Ulberg. That was like, if he does that against Ferreira, he's not going to submit Ferreira, and if he Ferreira can reverse him if he try to wrestle, that's for sure. He looked phenomenal against Ruziboev, to be honest, the leg kicks, and he killed him. Ruziboev missed weight in this fight and didn't look good, but Rebecki did his job. And he looked good early against Nick Fury, who I don't rate as a fighter, and he's not in the UFC anymore. But then he gassed out, man, end of the second round. And if you look at it, like in his last couple fights, like first round, early second round, decision, first round, decision, first round, second round, third round, first round. So, you know, he's not going deep in fights a lot. And Ruziboev didn't give him any resistance. I think Ferreira will give him resistance. You know, that's a guy that fought the best of the best. He fought the way better competition than Rebecki. And yeah, that's going to be a good fight. And he has a big reach advantage. He has 74 reach compared to 66. That's a big difference, you know? So better level of competition, better grappler, better cardio, in my opinion. And he has the power too. So yeah, if Rebecki, like when he gets started, he kind of like he's more edible. And if you try to shoot sloppy takedowns against Ferreira here and he's not getting them, like Ferreira might just jump on a sub or he might knock him out. But yeah, I think it's a dog or pass for sure. He was plus 330 at some point. I didn't play him. Now he's back down to minus 300. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to see what people do if they parlay him again. Oh, never mind. He's plus 328 on Pinnacle. I might get some.
So you should bet him. I think you should bet him live on show right now. 2 units.
Probably, but the only thing I don't want to do is I already have a big bet on the under. So I don't want to get too exposed on the fight, you know. Like if Ferreira I bet the under 2.5 and then Rebecki win a decision, I'm gonna lose just too much money. So I'm gonna see what I do, but the line is crazy to me. I think if Ferreira is not washed, he's gonna need to survive a big first round, but I think Rebecki like minus 150 if Ferreira is not washed. You know, maybe minus 110 if he was in his prime. Maybe even I favor him. But now he's 39, so I have to give a little bit more to Rebecki. So I get Rebecki minus 200, maybe something like that. But now we're talking minus
310. Looks pretty good too. I don't know.
No, I look nasty.
Dog, what do you think? What do you got for this Rebecki Diego fight?
Yeah, I think this line is accurate. It could be a little bit wider, actually. Ferreira's washed. Been coming off he wants the confirmation bias here. But yeah, no, I mean Ferreira looked washed to Michael Johnson. I mean, that was like a Hail Mary overhand that won him that fight. You know, Johnson's a much better striker than Rebecki, but to be honest, like I know there's like cardio questions, but you go back in Rebecki's regional tape, he has a bunch of like round 2, round 3 finishes where he's just absolutely smashing guys in crucifix position. And we've seen, Diego Ferreira not really be able to keep up a wrestling pace. I know the Fior fight is the massive talking point for folks that think the line is a little too wide. However, he beat the shit out of Fior. Like, I'm sorry, but Diego Ferreira is not surviving that at this point in his career. He's probably going to be on the canvas if Rebecki does that. Rebecki's
you're probably right, dude, to be honest.
Yeah, Rebecki's ultra durable as well. He's the much cleaner boxer. He's going to beat up his inside leg. He could probably land takedowns if he wanted to. That's the big concern. But I personally think we're going to get, ground and pound from crucifix here in round 2, round 3. Rebecki's ground pound from crucifix, if you go back on some of his regional tape from when he actually tries to like maintain top position in half guard, he's really, really good on top. I know that Ferreira is a great scrambler, but I mean, it's hard to get up from under a dude that's built like this. And even because at the end of the day, you have to remember, like, he's scrambling under guys who aren't necessarily the best control grapplers. Gamrot is not a good control grappler. Guys like Gregor Gillespie, they're not control grapplers, they're wrestlers. Guys like Alban, Mercier is a great, control grappler, but that was 8 years ago, right? That's not the same guy. I understand his scrambling and jiu-jitsu ability is good, but, these are wrestlers. I've seen Rebecki with great top control and jiu-jitsu on top of having a good wrestling base and great durability. I feel like this line is accurate, and it could honestly be a little bit wider. I am also very high on Rebecki, though, to be honest. I like his MMA game. I think it's very well-rounded, and I think he has great hardware, elite hardware. And that's not the type of guy you want to be dealing with if you're a 39-year-old coming off a couple injuries. So
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna take round 2, round 3 props for Rebecki here. They're like +500, 600, and plus like 900 or 1,000 in round 3. I feel like he smashes him.
Yeah, under 2.5, so we both cash.
If you're nice to me, I'll say, hopefully it's not, round 3, 231.
Yeah.
It'll be elbowing him from crucifix, and Goddard will be like, fight back, and you'll be watching it take.
I hope not, bro. I have 3 units on the under, so.
Wow.
Did you watch the road to UFC when Rong Zhu just beat the crap out of that wrestler for like 3 rounds?
Yeah. I did. I
had the under in that fight. That was one of the most tilting unders ever. The dude spits his mouthpiece out and he's walking away from the dude, and Herb Dean's like, "You gotta fight back," and I'm like, "Yo, he's done. He has no mouth. He's over it." And they just let it go right over top. And I was like, I lost like 3 units. It was like one of the worst beats I've had in a minute. It was hilarious stuff.
That was crazy. I think I got -110 on
I had Rong Zhu, but I had the under too. So I didn't make $1 fight. It sucked.
It's annoying.
I was like, wow, what a great read. The under was massive value at Pick'em, and so was Rong Zhu, and I didn't make $1.
Keith, anything for you for Rebecki, Carlos, or do we move on to Ulberg?
I already went.
He already said his piece. He thinks that you think that's Ferreira's aside, and you're a bum for parlaying.
Dude, I know. These guys just want me to lose money. It's crazy. Every week. It's the same thing every week.
Just ride round 2 KO, and we'll
that's what I'm gonna have to do. Key, I'm gonna let you go first here. This is your Super Bowl. We got Alonzo Menifield versus Carlos Ulberg, your boy, the stripper. You want the male stripper to win. Menifield is 36, 205. I don't know why I said his weight. I'm so flustered because Brunson's out. 6 feet with a 76-inch reach. Carlos Ulberg is 33, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. Line on these two guys, you can get Menifield anywhere from +230 to minus 190, plus 198. You can get Ulberg anywhere from plus 258 to minus 258 to minus 275. Key, does Menifield upset everyone's show and knock out Ulberg and fraud check him, or does Ulberg put it on this guy?
I think that Pat Barry is going to continue his coach of the year run. I think that he's going to give a great game plan. I think that Menifield's going to come in and cage push. I think he's going to wrestle early. I think that he's going to find the shots. All bullshit aside, I think that Ulberg paints another masterpiece here. Menifield has dodged death a couple times. And I think that he's not going to dodge death here. Ulberg has one of the best check hooks in the game, period. I've bet him just about every time out now. Since the Charant fight, I've bet him every single time out. And I'll continue to do it here. Minus 200 earlier on in the week was a good line. I'm personally not getting behind and parlaying this. But I did find some value on underdog fantasy with that over fantasy point score there. I'm happy with that. I think that the jab's going to be money here. Menifield is real wide with his hands at times. I think that he's just going to continue to touch them. Ulberg's as patient as they come. He finds the shots. The leg kicks are going to be there. I don't give Menifield any wrestling upside here. I don't understand any talking point there, honestly. Ulberg has looked good. He was hurt in that Jung fight. Going into that Jung fight, was thinking about pulling out and underperformed, in my opinion, and still found the sub at the last second. So I think that Ulberg's a spot. It's about time that they give him a real dude now. I think after this fight, especially if he gets the knockout, another highlight finish, I think that you have to give him a real guy, not fucking Dominic Reyes. Please do not reschedule that. But give him a real dude. I think that he's going to touch him up here. Menifield the Jacoby fight was so puzzling in a multitude of ways. Jacoby has to be one of the worst winners of all time. I mean, in my opinion, there's no reason he should have lost that fight. But getting touched. And I think that Ulberg's chin is just fine. It's not like he's just going to get completely flatlined. I think there's an Ulberg spot. I think that he looks good here. I think that Pat Barry, that is what I'm going to be watching. I would love for this to get out of the first round just so I can hear the game plan and advice that Pat Barry gives Menifield in the corner going into round 2 while he's getting his ass whooped. So, yeah.
All right. Drav, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I was looking to play Menifield at first. I played Menifield against Jacoby. I got plus 225, plus 230, and now it's kind of the same price. Difference is Ulberg is way more dangerous than Jacoby, and he has a better chin than Jacoby. So, man, I was looking into I watched a shit ton of tape for that fight, and my thoughts are that Ulberg's gonna knock him out pretty badly with the left hook coming in. Like Menifield, when you rush in, he's so hittable. And Ulberg, I know people want to fade him. I just watched it. I back him in a lot of fight. I had him against Tafon at plus money. I had him against Nicolau at minus 120. I had him against Poteria in the parlay, and I had him against Dang Jung in the parlay. Just a guy that I think he has good matchup for him. And I thought at first that Menifield could potentially pressure him, wrestle him, or maybe knock him out. He has power, but then, man, he's just going to be so open for Ulberg to knock him out. Like, the way he got knocked out by OSP by a check left hook is just, like, you can't go into tapes, watch this, and be like, he's not going to get knocked out. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of too obvious. He got dropped by William Knight. I think it was also a left hook. He got counter left hook against OSP. And yeah, he got hurt in some other fights too. So yeah, Ulberg, nasty leg kicks, nasty jab. You control distance very well. Elite counters. And yeah, Menifield's going to rush him. He's going to get killed by a check left hook. It's just simple to me. Just don't need to overcomplicate it. The money line side, I don't think it's Ulberg though. I can't get myself to minus 300 because if somehow it go to distance, I think it's going to be close. But yeah, Ulberg knockout, the under everything you want. The only 1.5 at first was the line was too wide, but now the price dropped. But yeah, I feel Ulberg's gonna knock him out in the first round here. Yeah, just I think the technical aspect of Ulberg and the power, the counters, everything's gonna be too much, and he has a lot of shot to knock him out with the head kicks, the left hook. Even he can hurt him with the jab. He can destroy his legs. Yeah, Menifield's live to knock him out early though. That's why I said the under's probably a good look.
Yeah. Dog, I'll let you go. Honestly, I got no take here. I didn't touch this fight. I didn't tape this fight. I don't really want anything to do with this fight, to be honest. I'm just gonna enjoy it. I don't think there's any like value outside of Ulberg KO. I don't think.
I like
what
the
do
under.
You think?
I actually favor the under here.
Okay.
It got steamed, so well, I don't know what it is now.
I don't know why.
Oh, you steamed it?
Yeah, I got plus 170 on the under 1.5.
I saw it, but it was up. I don't think the limits were. I think the limits were like 500. Were they 500? I think it was 500 or 250. I wanted to put.
It was. I think it was 750. I think. Yeah.
There were 50 on the totals.
I think so. Yeah, but I played on 2 books. I played on.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would have played it. I would have. Normally, Bovada, I can sometimes get down like $1,000 on some of these unders or some of these totals early, but sometimes like they just move and I get screwed out of like 45, 50 cents, and I'm like, I'm good, I'll just pass. But the more I tape this one, I actually think the under should be favored at like 55, 60%. Ulberg hurts everybody he fights in round 1 pretty much. I mean, even the Jung fight, like I know that extended, but he dropped him bad with a 1-1-2 around his guard and pretty much almost put him out. I don't think Menifield comes back from that. He hasn't really faced a power puncher like Ulberg in a minute, and he's really easily hit around this guard. He doesn't really do a good job at blocking hooks. So I think it's put out in round 1. But Ulberg, I still have some questions about him. The dude's almost 34 and we're still talking about him like he's a fucking prospect. The dude's 34 years old. Like he's got 10 fights. He hasn't fought anybody yet. Let's chill out. Not that high. I'm really not that high on him, to be honest. He's a good striker and all that, but at the end of the day, like he's reached his ceiling here in the UFC as a powerful striker with okay cardio and decent durability. I think this line's pretty ridiculous, but I don't really see Menifield having a path here outside of like a cage push fest, which I really don't want to bet into. So I like the under. I think both guys can probably bonk each other early.
Yeah, and the fight end by knockouts -200 too. I think it's a decent parlay piece.
Yeah. I agree.
Menifield does a guillotine, pulls a guillotine like he did on freaking.
Yeah, man. That's the only reason I'm hesitant about playing him. And you're making good points about the. That's what I send in my breakdowns. That even some fights that went over for these dudes, like could have went under. Like even Menifield, like a lot of fights he got hurt or he hurt people and then he goes over. But like, yeah, just you can make a case that. I think it should be like -110 ish on the
I actually feel like 55-60% is fine. I actually favor this fight to end under. And it's for that exact reason, right? Like, I know it's plus money right now, but if you go back and watch all of their fights and you say, what's the likelihood that this fight ended under 1.5 rounds? I mean, the likelihood that a lot of their fights end under 1.5 rounds feels like it's 60% when I watch them get hurt or hurt each other or hurt their opponent under 1.5. So I don't know how you play the over here. Like you watch like 5 minutes of Ulberg tape and you're like, holy shit, this guy could get clipped at any moment because he has to like tell himself to tuck his chin every single time he fights too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Menifield just swings a massive overhand and clips him either. And I think that's why I do favor the under, because I do see issues with Ulberg striking. He's been fighting a lot of guys who, in my opinion, aren't that impressive of strikers. I'm just not sold on him yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, if you're not sold on him now, when will you be? Right.
I just think he has a low ceiling. I think he has like a high ceiling, but like his floor is so low. Like this dude could be really good, but he's 34 at this point. He's pretty much 34. He's a finished product. He's not getting any better. His best win is Ja Eun-jung. Let's pump the brakes.
Ja Eun-jung. What a time. All right. Co-main event. We're finally here. Let's try and wrap this up for 2 hours. Joaquin Buckley versus Nursultan Ruziboev. Joaquin Buckley, he is 30 years old, 5'10", with a 76-inch reach. Nursultan Ruziboev is 30, 6'5", reach not available. That's helpful. Right now, the odds in this fight, Joaquin Buckley looks like he went down to -129, but it's back at whoa. All right, yeah. So he's -129 to -150, and Nursultan's anywhere from +109 to +140. Okay, this is interesting now. Now I'm a little nervous. I'll go first real quick. I'll be pretty short with it. I think Joaquin Buckley is going to be the hardest competition this guy's faced yet. I think he's got pretty good grappling, or anti-grappling, was what he's going to need. I think he's got the more crisp boxing. He's obviously got KO power. He's looked great at 170. Hasn't really given us an issue not. We know Nursultan has had all of his losses, or a lot of his losses, at 170. I actually took Nursultan to win against Dumbass. It was an easy play. It was a system play. It was free money. The eye poke, maybe. I was there live. I couldn't see it. Yeah, I was a little far from the cage, but I didn't see it happen. I just think that this is going to be the first big test. I think a lot of people are trying to fraud check Nursultan. I'm kind of hoping this is the spot where we kind of get the bonus. I think he will be good in the future. He's training with the Philly boys, which could be good, can be bad. We'll find out. But I think Joaquin's aside here, but evidently the line doesn't agree with me. I played 1.5 units on -150. I'm hoping I'm not I actually faded Joaquin Buckley against with Vicente Luque.
Clearly I remember that.
I think to be honest, I kind of think Luque just quit in there. I think it could have been a debatable early stoppage just because, listen, I was there live. He was trying to cover up, but I don't know. I don't think that's a way to flex like Joaquin did. But yeah, I think Joaquin's aside here, hoping he doesn't get fraud checked, or hopefully he doesn't get knocked out in front of his home crowd after talking and screaming on the mic at 300 and asking everything. It would just be a real shame for him to do everything that he did to get this co-main event just to get, KO'd in the first round. It would be just a shame. We just got to get out of the first round, in my opinion. Next, Drav. Let's go. You go next. What do you think here?
Yeah, big step up in competition for Buckley, for Ruziboev. He looks to be a fraud, but we can't ignore that he's so big and dangerous early. So I think he's live to knock him out in the first round. It's pretty clear to say. Buckley, sometimes he doesn't have the best chin. So I feel like Ruziboev dropping back down to 170 here. I know he did it a couple of times. I think he have even some fights at 155. So, but I kind of like him better at 185. He was already so big at this division. So I don't understand why he's dropping down, and he's kind of on short notice too. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how he looks on the scales. But yeah, Buckley has been looking phenomenal at 170. He's going to be hard to find for Ruziboev. He has good footwork, good movement. He has big power. Maybe a hot take, but I think he has some tough time upside here. He's strong and he can win minute on top. Ruziboev, he kind of loves to play off bottom. He has some Caceres. He has some weird sub on his resume. He's gonna talk about it, but yeah, I just feel overall he's a weird dude, but he gets things done. But now Buckley and his hometown, to me, he's the better striker. I think he has better footwork. He fought the way better competition. And he has the way better cardio with top time upside. I feel after 4 minutes, it's all Buckley. But yeah, he needs to survive some big shot early, and sometimes his chin can be cracked. So that's my concern. But I think overall, you have to bet him at like 55 to 60%. It's kind of just based on what we know, I have to make him 70%. So yeah, overall, I think it's a good matchup for him. But Ruziboev, he's big and he's dangerous early. So maybe you go with the first round for him. You can get like plus 500 on first round for Ruziboev. I think it's better than money line. You can even get like first round KO at plus 7, 8, 900, which is crazy. I don't think he's gonna get a sub, but yeah, man, that's a good fight. I'm excited for it, but I think Buckley's gonna get a knock. I think he's gonna get a knockout.
Keith, what do you think? And then we'll go to Dog.
I think Buckley knocks him out in 30 seconds, and then we get the Dumas Ruziboev rematch that we deserve. I still stick to it. I'd bet Dumas at bigger odds, but I would bet it again, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't think the Ruziboev is good. I think these round one are bust here. I think that Drive called some of his regional fights weird. I'll call them fixed because that's why I think that there were a couple of them. I think that Ruziboev's round one KO prop and round two KO props are actually have decent value. So if you're taking shots there, I think that's completely fine. Because we have seen Buckley get sniped before from long strikers. But I think that Buckley, hometown, narratives on his side. They're teeing him up in this spot. Ruziboev, I believe, like damn near all of his losses come from 170. I don't think that he's going to miss weight necessarily. I just don't think that's definitely not going to be an easy cut. I think that Buckley's distance management isn't the greatest, and I'm not high on Buckley at all. I'm not a Buckley guy, but I do think that he can wrestle here. I think that in close boxing range in rounds 2 and 3, I think that he can look good and win moments. And I mean, he's hometown guy. I think that you kind of have to roll with him at these odds. I can't blame anybody taking Ruziboev round 1 KO though. So this is Buckley. I played it at minus 150. I thought line would get better. I'm fine with it at minus 150. I think that Buckley gets it done here. I'm not sure exactly how. I think the late round KO is available. I think that he can ride him out to a decision. Pause. But I think that this is, I mean, we're at like fucking 10 right now. But I think this is a Buckley fight. Buckley and STL will get it done.
Dog.
Yeah. This is a Ruziboev spot for me. I bet him at plus 145. I might be behind some of the steam on this line. Buckley's run is pretty overrated, to be honest with you. He beat Vicente Luque. He quit Alex Moreno, who has awful cardio as well. Not very physical, not very athletic at all. And then the Andre Fiallo fight was pretty 50-50 before he head kicked him. He got bonked by Chris Curtis in a fight that he was winning because he doesn't really have a lot of striking defense when he's on the front foot. And then he got absolutely washed by Imavov and had to pretty much Homer Simpson his way back in round 3. The Dariya fight, really not a great look. He did well in the Dariya fight. Dariya did what he did. He tried to get takedowns and then he quit. And then the Al Hassan fight is really what's concerning to me here. I know there's a lot of folks who consider Buckley to have a lot of grappling and top time upside, but he gassed in round 3 to Al Hassan and got taken down. I go back on Nursultan's regional tape. There's the Abasov fight, which is in all the way back in. I'm not sure if you guys watch this tape on the Abasov fight for Ruziboev.
I definitely didn't, but I'm sure they did.
I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's one of his division losses against a guy who's actually pretty good in one championship. They actually have a pretty high-paced grappling fight where Ruziboev looks fine in round 3. This is at 170, probably about 6-7 years ago. I'd have to think he's improved a little bit since then, especially working with the Marquez team. A lot of these losses on his resume, you see that he's fighting like a month, month every month. He has a loss to Murad Ramazanov too, who's also like a really, really good fighter who just signed with the PFL and absolutely smashed. What's his name?
Logan Storley.
No. That was
Wrong Russian.
that was Musayev.
Staropoli.
But Ramazanov, yeah, he just smashed Staropoli. They went to decision with each other. Yeah. I cannot find that tape. I want to see it so bad. But really, a lot of this, I feel like, is narrative based. That Ruziboev has like awful cardio. I mean, I watched it myself. He's not that bad. And he was still swinging down in round 3. I mean, we saw Buckley gas to Al Hassan in a heavy-paced grappling fight. And his run, to me, feels overrated. I feel like Ruziboev has a lot of the upside in this fight. So I was happy to back him as a dog. Buckley has looked improved, but to what point? I think we're overstating it a little bit here on the line. Ruziboev is probably one of these regional guys where the record is and the tape is but he actually has fought some pretty good guys on his record and had some pretty decent performances in high-paced fights where he's gone to decision and not quit. I feel like the line is getting closer to accurate, but I feel like it should be a pick'em because of the unknowns on the Ruziboev side. He's massive compared to Buckley here, and I think that the cardio narrative's a bit overstated because I've seen it myself.
Okay. I like that. This guy, we bring this guy dog in. We sometimes all agree he's got something different. That's what we need.
What to me is a little bit confusing this week is that like everybody that I know is on Buckley, but the line's moving the opposite direction for folks on Twitter. So either the Uzbekis are coming in and putting the president of Uzbekistan's probably like piling in on Ruziboev here, or somebody has a different viewpoint than MMA Twitter here. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm happy to take dog money in a fight that I feel like is very volatile.
Definitely. And I think Drav mentioned too. Drav, were you talking about taking the under 1.5 or the over 1.5?
The under, but I didn't play it.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to the main event. Get this over with. We're just hit 2 hours. Derek Lewis, 39, 6'3", the 79-inch reach, fighting Rodrigo Nascimento, 31, 6'2", with an 80-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two guys, Derek Lewis is anywhere from -145 on Betway to -161. Nascimento is anywhere from +141 to +120. I'll make this quick. I think this is a huge step down in competition for Derek Lewis. I'm sure he does have grappling upside and BJJ upside, but in my opinion, like, he's got to get it there first, which he may not have a problem with. But I mean, it is Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis carries that power throughout 5 rounds. I don't see a reason why a guy who got knocked out by Dawkins can't get knocked out by Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has looked in better shape. I almost just say he looks better lately. It looks like he's in better shape lately with all the running he's doing. I mean, against Jailton, he has survived against Jailton, who I'd probably rate clips better than in jiu-jitsu and in grappling than Nascimento, and that was in Brazil on short notice. So I kind of have I haven't bet it yet. I was hoping the odds got closer on Lewis, but I think come fight day, depending on how it's looking, how everyone looks on the scale, I probably will get a bet down on Derek Lewis here. Dog, you go next, and we'll just go Drav and Key.
Yeah, I'm not interested in betting on this fight at all. Massive grappling upside if, Nascimento can land trip takedowns, but he kind of sucks. I don't really like him at all. I just don't like his game. Like, he's kind of a cage pusher. His boxing is fine. He's a pretty well-rounded guy, but he's just kind of mid. Lewis has massive big favorite upside here. I favor him to bonk him, but I don't really want to bet somebody at Juice that has a massive, in what I can assume from what I see, is that he can land takedowns here. I mean, that's how Lewis lost to Latifi and Shamil Abdurakhmanov. He loses his fights when he gets grappled. So that's Nascimento's path, and I'm not paying 55, 60% to do it. Figure that out.
Yeah, fair. Drav?
Yeah, I agree. I was hoping to get maybe +100 on Lewis by knockout, but we're not gonna get that. We're not gonna get that. Yeah, I don't think Nascimento has a good chin. I think Lewis, big power. It feels just too obvious that he's gonna knock him out. So I have a weird feeling about something weird is gonna happen. Like I think some weird shit's gonna happen in this main event. I don't know what, but maybe we see a decision, some shit. Like I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I think Lewis should knock him out, but yeah. Overall, I think his get up game, takedown defense, sub defense is good enough to survive if he gets taken down. And yeah, on the feet, he's the better striker, but he has way more power. He's not a good minute winner, though. But yeah, Nascimento is going to get cracked here and knock him out. I think he's going to knock him out. I just don't want to lay big chalk on Lewis. But that's a big step down in competition, though, to be fair.
Yeah. Key, anything different for you?
No, I think that Derek Lewis bonks him. I do have money on Derek Lewis to bonk him. So Derek Lewis bonk.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you for joining us. As always, we still got one thing to do that we always do. Dog, I'm not sure if you've tuned in before, but we give out the BTL Parlay every week. Basically, we all pick one leg, add it to a parlay. You don't even have to take it if you don't want. You can put 1 unit, you can put 5 units. You don't even have to take it, like I said. It's just something we do for the people to reward the people who listen. We are net positive. I want to say around 10.43 units total. So if you've been listening to the show since day one and taking this parlay for 1 unit, you should be up $1,000 and that's just for listening to us ramble and just talk shit. So, do you want to go first, Dog, or do you want to wait and have us go and then you pick off? How do you want to do this? Unless you got a leg that you love right away.
Let me do the fight doesn't go the distance in the Waldo Cortez Acosta and Robelo Despaigne fight at like -1,000. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Nobody would fucking parlay that. But let me get the under 2.5 in the McKinney Ribovics fight.
So I was about to say, just so you know, we're gonna do the parlay on bet online, and we can only parlay money line or the over under that they set it up. So
you see, we always do that, but BetOnline doesn't sponsor us yet. So maybe we should just do it on you get it on any book and just do it that way. Just
we
because
we can do that as well, but the full props are not out everywhere. But if we want to do it, I don't mind it. But
all right, do you want to do what's the odds? I'm under 2.5 on that.
No, I'm kidding. 1.5 in the McKinney Ribovics fight. Like -2, whatever, 250, 260 now.
Yeah, I was about to say the under 2.5 is like -700.
All right, so you want to do?
I know, I'm kidding. I would never parlay that. I'm joking. I thought you guys would get the joke, but Pegasus was ready to write that down. Like I would parlay -700. No, just do.
Dude, I have FDG written down and scribbled.
Well, you would be fucking surprised. You'd be fucking surprised at what he's parlayed on the show.
Yeah.
So
I'll take anything.
It's true, Kier.
All right. All right. So what do you want, Dog? What do you got for us?
Okay, so
the under 1.5 in the McKinney fight.
Okay.
1.5.
Okay, under 1.5 McKinney. And that's what, -260?
I got his ass. Yeah, -260.
Yeah. Okay. Drop, you go next.
Give me Trey Water, -160.
Trey Water, -160. Key?
let me go. Shit. Fuck it. We ride with Slava. Slava, money line, -146.
Okay, Slava, money line, -146. Okay.
And, you can say the over 2.5 for Ricci, -500.
Dude, I was thinking
The
that.
over 1.5.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I was honestly about to say, I was thinking Johnson, and then I was looking at Ricci and them over.
No, don't do the over for real. I was kidding, bro. It's -450 or something.
Well, I was looking at the over of the Aldrich. What's the Aldrich in there? Oh, that's all. Okay, it's -650. That is -650. Oh, I know. That's 452. Yeah, I don't like that.
Johnson, though, we all liked him, but didn't play him, I think. I think Goff him, but Johnson. You said you like Johnson.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about doing Charles Johnson as a dog.
Dude, go in. What are you waiting on? We all like Johnson. Put him in the parlay. You just don't want to pick. You don't want to be the guy to pick plus money.
Exactly.
That's what it fucking is. Now, because now you're projecting for us making fun of you for taking too many chalk. You want to take the plus money now. Yeah.
All right. Charles Johnson plus 121. Lock it in.
It's plus 738.
Plus 738. All right. Plus 738.
So the under 1.5 for McKinney minus 260. Treywater money line minus 160. Borshchev money line minus 146. And Johnson money line plus 121. So I give you plus 738. You can get better than that, by the way, if you go just on Pinnacle. But
we needed one more thing. We could have got 1738 and it would have been wild. But okay. Thanks for joining us, dog. I really appreciate it. It was great having you. You always got good insight. If you got anything, well, I was gonna say anything you want to plug. If you got anything you want to talk about that you have, whether it be Twitter or Discord, you got anything? Where can people follow you? Where can they find you? Where do you hang out? What's good?
Yeah, if you want to talk about fights or ask me about anything, just send me a DM. I have like the dumbest Twitter handle that I made back in 2015 when I was very immature, and I'm still very immature, but way more mature now. But yeah, if you want to talk about fights, just hit me up. I'm in like a MMA GOAT Discord. It's just like a fun Discord that I talk fights in. It's not nothing serious. I don't really like to talk fights with people too much because I hate like the big group thought process. I actually like left a couple Discords recently because I felt like it wasn't good for me. So I try to stay on my own and do my own. I like to chat shit and have a good time, and and give betting advice if I can. And I feel like a best bet for me this week while I'm on the show, Ribovics round 2 at plus 650, and Robellis Despaigne under 0.5 rounds at plus 250.
Sounds like money.
Yeah, it does sound like money. I'm very so you found this Robellis prop on DraftKings?
Yeah, it's on DraftKings. Go on there right now. Get learned. You need to get you learned. Go into alternative round totals.
Okay. Oh, dude, I may have that issue that we talked about in the DMs about New York.
Does New York not allow you to do alternate round totals?
Let me look. Oh, no, I got that. Let's see.
0.5.
Under 0.5. So what is that? It's got knockouts got to be under 2.5 minutes.
Any finish under 0.5 rounds. He could stub his fucking toe and get finished in 10 seconds, and you cash it.
All right, I like that. Okay.
What is it plus? Is it plus 250 still?
Yep, it's still plus 250.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go bet that.
All right, perfect. Guys, you know where to find us. Appreciate it, Champ Bets. As again, guys, we do this for free. We do it every week. We love to do it. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that people say just for support. Follow us on Twitter as well. I'm Pegasus Picks. I run a free Telegram. It's always going to be free. Like, my spiel about being Robin Hood. I steal from the books, give to you guys, yada, yada. Join the Telegram. It's free. It always will be free. People get upset because you track betting and early lines. No lines. I'm not moving lines betting $100. So I give my picks out in there. The line's still there. It doesn't go anywhere. So that's my spiel. Key, what do you got?
Yeah, Key Through Picks. Y'all know where to find me. In my link in Twitter, you can get access to my Dub Club and Discord. Shout out to Dog Father for this pod. Fun having you on. We definitely got to have you back soon.
There's the dog.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and pass it to Drive.
Yeah, man, that was fun having you, dude. Sharp insight. And yeah, guys, so like Peg said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's up. It's help us continue to do content. And yeah, you can find my link on my Twitter, JV_. You can find my Dub Club where I post every bet. I love this card betting wise. I did attack the card a different way this week because we gotta adapt with every betting card because no card is the same, So yeah, if you want to join, you can join now. I still have a 25% code that you can have that I posted on Twitter a couple days ago. I think there's 7 spots left. So yeah, man, if you have any question, you can DM me on Twitter as always. And yeah, man, we're gonna cash again this week and we're back on the win streak, everybody, I think so. Yeah,
everyone's winning. Let's keep winning. and it's a Knicks tape right now. Now we're up 9. Brunson's back in the game. All is good. All right, boys. Peace. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you guys. Is there fights next week?
Hell yeah. Road to UFC. We got hella shit.
Oh, all right. Well, damn, I love that that's back. Also, next week is Barbosa Leon Murphy.
Well, nobody gives a fuck about Lerone Murphy. But
Carlston Harris went to plus odds. Give me more plus odds. Keep betting Chaos Williams, please. Keep betting.
But Demopoulos is back. We are so fucking back. Let's go.
Yeah, she's plus 225 now. Some of these lines are starting to move.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again. Murphy Barbosa next week will be here. Peace.